Okay, sorry. We had a call, and so it really messed. I'm new at this. So, all right, finishing up that topic. Again, we are talking about being involved in your child's education, and we had just finished discussing making connections with your kids in their developmental benchmarks in the 5 areas of early childhood development, which are cognition, your cognitive area, language skills, gross motor, fine motor, and language, gross motor, fine motor, and socio emotional. Okay, so as your child continues to move through life, again, from the inception, you're going to want to develop those 5 areas. But your child is going to get older. And so those are still the central focus of development for your child. And it's your responsibility to know your child. And again, we discussed yesterday advocacy in terms of what kind of learner your child is. So early on the front end, what you're doing is you're observing your child, you're doing activities with your child. Hi, Carla and Michelle. You're doing activities with your child, you're learning their little idiosyncrasies and nuances. And then you're able to identify, like, hey, my daughter, she really responds well this way, or my son, this kind of this movement, this resonates with him. He's a really good mover. He developmentally, he was surpassing what his benchmarks were from the inception. So like, I know very early on he was doing, hey honey, he was doing things that hey Dasan, he was doing things early on that he wasn't even really supposed to be doing yet. And so he has a higher aptitude in this area. Or my daughter, cognitively, she's really surpassing what these benchmarks are saying. And so then you can continue to build upon those skill sets as they move forward, as they get older. So what you have to do now is, so even with my small child, that's all idealistic, right? Like, we know that those are the ways that we're supposed to do things. From the beginning, you read all the books. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. Maybe you didn't have the awareness, to do this, what to expect when you're expecting all that stuff. Maybe you didn't do all of that. Maybe you didn't have the awareness. Maybe you didn't know. You don't know what you don't know. Because I didn't know a lot of this stuff, right? So what you can do is go backwards. You can backtrack. There's something called an ASQ, which is an ages stages questionnaire that you can get at any pediatrician or any home visitor, caseworker. WIC, they do those kinds of things, and it's an assessment to tell you kind of like, and this is for kids that are just up to, I think, 5 years old, but it'll kind of tell you like where your child is at and where your child should be. Then they grade you. That's what I did with my last gig, and we would go into the homes and we would kind of conduct the assessment and then do activities to support the child's area of where they needed to kind of we need to get some more information. We would glean the assessment, and then we would give them activities to kind of support them so that they could be developmentally on target. Well, my daughter, there are some things that I noticed even at 7, or now Tegan's 8, now that I need to develop in her. Like socio-emotionally, I'm identifying some things in Tegan. Tegan is the only child, and so she has some relational things that she needs to happen for her. So when I'm looking at schools and when I'm talking about being involved in her education, I know that there's some things, little nuances about being in an environment, a learning environment. Like, Tegan can't be an only child, be at home with me all day long, be around adults all day, and then go into an environment and have an expectation to be in solitude and learn in an environment where they're supposed to be individualized learning. My daughter needs that relational interaction with her peers, and it can't just be at recess. So she has to really participate, and I have to advocate on her behalf of that, and I have to identify a school and an environment that's supportive of that, that's really supportive of relations between the children, intergenerational approaches to education. And so the school that she goes to is really, really good at that. They have an intergenerational, they have like a first grade through third grade classroom, intergenerational classrooms. And that's important for me too, because Tegan's not reading on grade level. And that's also something that's hard for me, as a parent who has all this awareness and knowing my daughter's not reading on grade level. There's a lot of reasons why I believe Tegan's not reading on grade level. And so at this point, I'm doing everything that I can to provide interventions for her, because she's at a really, really important age right now. She's in the 3rd grade, and that's what they base those statistics on, our 3rd grade reading score. So clearly, it's imperative for me to provide interventions right now so that my daughter can get developmentally on track. Get it? So that's why I have been super involved because I have to advocate on her behalf and provide interventions for my daughter and advocate on behalf of her to get the interventions that she needs so that she can surpass, where she's at right now. And there are areas where my daughter, she excels in. My daughter is excellent at mathematics, loves science. Reading is difficult for her. And so even thinking about who I was as a learner, that's different because I was kind of the opposite of that. I do like science, but I'm a really, really big reader. Math is not such a good thing for me, So, you have to just take an assessment of where your child is at and know your child. Know what kind of needs that you have, that your child has, and how you can advocate on behalf of your child and make sure that the learning environment that your child goes into supports what their needs are. And that is it. Are there any questions for me? Any questions, humans? Any? Tegan? Okay. I'm about to get back to work then. This is hoodmom.com. If you guys want to go to the blog, I'm going to be putting content up really soon. It has been super hectic. Crazy, crazy, crazy hectic. Crazy hectic. So, yeah. That's kind of it. None for me. That was good. Oh, thanks, Carla. Okay, I love y'all. I will be back tomorrow and every day moving forward up into 21 days. So I care about you. Hey, Meg, how are you? You missed the talk. I'm done now. All right. Thank you, Michelle. I love you guys. So I'm logging off. If you guys have any questions for me, you could just DM me. You can leave the questions below. I'll check them regularly. And that's kind of just it. So take care. Thank you, Michelle. I will keep the lives coming. I'm doing topics every single day for the next not 21 days now. How many days have I done? One introduction. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the 4th one. So it's exciting. I'm going to be in here like swimwear. Bye. Talk to you guys later. Mwah.